both 107.3 FM and 1490 WBCB, and seen live on YouTube at WBCB Sports and Snow The Goalie, a Flyers podcast. Tonight's show is brought to you by Capital Grille, Chickies and Pete's, and Payroll Service Solutions. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for Snow The Goalie. Now, here are your hosts, Anthony SanFilippo, Russ Joy, and former Flyer Chris Therien.
Welcome into Snow The Goalie Radio here on WBCB. We are live tonight from Chickies and Pete's in Drexel Hill. Anthony, Bundy, and a special guest on the end, a man who you may see every morning over on Daily Face-Off with Morning Cup of Hockey. Colby Cohen. How are we doing tonight, gents?
Doing good. Nice win last night by the Flyers. They got it was a lot of extracurriculars in a game that took 3 hours to play, which is just insane. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Yeah, I mean, why do Flyers games? I look around the league, right, and game starts at 7:07. They end at 9:30 everywhere. Yeah. You go to a Flyers game, the earliest they end is quarter to 10.
For whatever reason, the Flyers games take forever.
Forever.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the arena's too cold.
I don't know. I can't figure it out.
It freezes the clock a little bit. It runs a little bit slower. Colby, thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate having you on, my friend. One of the things that we wanted to kind of ask you about was, you know, you look at this team, they're off to a 5-3-1 start, which is pretty good, right? Especially considering the tough schedule they had at the beginning. You get the national perspective, I think, a little bit of what's happening with the Flyers. We know we're in the mud every day with this team, but you have more of a 1,000-foot view. What are you seeing from afar?
Well, it's funny because, you know, I grew up obviously in this area and you know, grew up watching this team every night, and my perspective has since changed, and so now when I turn on ESPN Plus at night, I'm looking for teams that entertain me, and I find the Flyers to be a team that I'm gravitating towards watching. I think there's players that you're curious about. You know, you look at even going back to last year, like how well Travis Sanheim has turned into and what he's developed into, and goes to the Four Nations, a guy who they're probably talking about for Team Canada for the Olympics. You've got, you know, always question marks around the goaltending, but it's held up for them. Zegras comes in. You know, Rick Tocchet comes home, a guy who probably could have called his shot anywhere, but this is where he wanted to be. So, you know, I think there's a much different vibe just talking to people and you know, even I was up at the BU Michigan State series, and I spent a good amount of time with Danny and Army, and you know, they had a huge brass up there. John LeClaire was there, Patrick Sharp was there, and you know, even with those guys, you just feel different energy when, you know, between periods, all those guys are kind of standing around each other. All the GMs are up there watching all their prospects, and there's just like a different buzz around the Flyers, and it does feel like this rebuild, or whatever word they're calling it. I know that's probably not the word that's being used internally, but like, it's starting to take shape, and you look at their balance sheet and you're like, there's wiggle room for the first time ever, and there's deals that are coming off the books and more wiggle room available. So I think, you know, there's definitely a different energy around the Flyers, just from a perspective of, I'm not in the market every single day while I live here. I'm not living in the bubble that is local, you know, the local media.
I guess, you know, the big thing that's been coming out now is Trevor Zegras kind of looks like he's back to the guy that Anaheim thought they had, right? Kind of looks like the guy that mostly I would assume the Flyers were really hoping they were going to get, the guy that they coveted for years and they were able to bring to town at what is very clearly an easy, very, very low cost relative to what that trade was. What have you seen so far from Trevor Zegras?
I mean, look, to buy that low on him is great work by Danny Briere and the group that put that whole deal together. Because the upside is enormous. He's under team control, so it's not like you got to roll up the bank truck and you know, break the bank for him. And look, I know watching him and seeing, maybe it was four or 5 games ago, that play he makes when, he's getting mauled behind the net by 2 players. Neither of them have a good stick on the play, and he's still able to get his stick on that puck. He gets it out to Sean Couturier, I believe it was, kind of through the slot. Like, he makes plays below the goal line that really only Michkov was making last year probably, and I think he calls a lot of attention to himself because he possesses the puck, and I think that frees up his line mates, and you get a guy who's lethal on the power play. Look, I think that so far, how could you really complain? And I know there was a lot of people who were upset about what happened last night, and him kind of going into that pile. I think was Achari, I believe it was, and kind of taking that swing at him while he was down. And sure, like, I don't know, Bundy, you're pretty old school in your thoughts. I don't know how you felt about that, but I just thought seeing him fired up with that type of piss and vinegar, while I don't love the play, I still look at it and I go, the guy wants to be involved, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't like a brawl of yesteryear. It was more like a bunch of guys pushing each other.
Yes.
But it was good. I mean, guys are getting involved. Even like Grabenkin got an instigator penalty. The Flyers were pretty happy with that. Like, they're trying to glue the team together. And those are little plays like that help do that. Like Rick Tocchet said today, you can be in a pack or you can be alone, but you're always going to be better when you're in the pack.
Right.
So, I mean, and if you're going to do something like that, I guess he probably didn't realize he was going to get booted out of the game and not available for the shootout.
He wasn't alone.
He wasn't alone. No, even Crosby was out of it too. So.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah,
right?
It was good. No, he did a good job. I mean, I agree with Colby. He's done some good things out there this year, and he's a point-a-game hockey player for the Flyers, and he's been really their most creative guy that they've had since the beginning of the year. For sure.
Colby, you said you were up at the BU Michigan State thing. Obviously, Flyers had some players up there. Just want to get your thoughts on some of the prospects that you saw up there.
I really like Van Sage. Van Sage.
Yeah.
I called the game Friday, so it's a little different when you're calling the game. And then Saturday, I just stuck around, and my kids and my family came up, and they took in their first game. But he really impressed me. Like, he looked to me of the group to be the man amongst the boys. And I think you watch Martone, and you're like, yeah, that kid's a hockey player. Like, he goes right to the spots. He goes and puts his ass right around the net. The goal that he scored, like, I remember someone looked at me and they're like, oh, that's the easiest goal he'll score all year. But I'm like, no, like, look where he put himself in the highest danger area on the ice. And he took that real estate away from Carter Amico, who's 6'5", right? And so I was impressed with him. I think he'll make the World Junior team. And I think having your prospects playing those in the World Junior tournament is just a big stage. I think it helps those guys along. And again, like, you could see Martone rung one off the crossbar, I think, on the Saturday night game. And, like, you look at that shot and you're like, geez, like, that puck got off his stick in a hurry. And you're like, that's a trait that, not a lot of guys really possess. And I think that both of those guys really stuck out to me. I think with Carter Amico, he hasn't played hockey in a year.
Because of the injury.
And I said that, like, you kind of have to, like, just let him be for a little bit, because you're coming off a broken kneecap. You're 6'7". He's such a big guy, and so you could tell, like, there's something there, because he does make some plays for a guy that size where you're like, wow. But when I talked to the Athletic about it, and they wanted to ask my opinion about it as well, and the prospects after that game, I just kind of said, like, I kind of give him a little bit of a free pass right now, and I kind of looked at the other guys a little bit closer, but definitely was impressed with Van Sage, and first time I've seen Porter Martone up close, like, in person, and, like, it's obvious to me watching him play in a game surrounded by, I think there were 34 draft picks in that game. There was half a dozen first and second round picks, guys that have chances to play. Like, you see why he went where he went. It wasn't like you were searching for him. He stands out, Martone, when he plays.
I have a feeling that he's going to be seeing some time with this organization once the collegiate season is over.
But let me tell you something. I haven't seen a team close to as good as Michigan State. So
he'll be in it for a while.
If they're not playing until, I believe, April 10th, which is the national championship game in Vegas, it'll be because they beat themselves. because that is the only team that can beat Michigan State right
They're
now.
that good,
is Michigan State. They are impressive. Michigan's a very good team. Western Michigan, to me, those are the best 3 teams this year. And that Michigan State team, like, I was like, wow, this is a dominant bunch. They've done a great job of putting that team together.
Awesome. Well, listen, Colby, we loved having you stop by.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Colby.
You know, if
Good insight.
do a show in Delaware County, you have to have a Delco kid.
Yeah.
You have to have a Delco kid come on. You guys don't know this, but I covered Colby when he was in high school.
Is that right, huh?
Yeah, Radnor.
Radnor High.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun times. And
That's a while ago. But
super cool to see, like, you guys. I remember. I mean, you guys used to have me on the show. Like, I mean, you've been doing this for what? This show is 10 years old.
8 years.
8
years. Yeah.
And you guys were really the first ones to, show any type of love towards me in this market, and so it's I appreciate you guys having me come by today. I do.
Colby, you're the best. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks,
Much
Colby.
Make sure you
appreciated.
go check them out every morning.
Yeah, every morning
Yeah.
on where can people find that at?
Daily Face Off on all their platforms. I'll
Yep.
be sure to say something to piss you off, I'm sure. So yeah, come stop by in the morning, 9 to 10 every day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Colby
Thanks,
Cohen,
Colby.
All right,
Daily
guys.
Face Off. Thanks for joining us here on Snow the Goalie.
All right,
Good stuff.
And you know what would be a good thing to do right now?
What would be a good thing to do?
I think it would
Russ?
actually be a good thing right now to remind the people, remind the fine folks at home, the fine folks on the radio, the fine folks in person. Although the people who are here, they're already aware of what's going down because they are in Chickies and Pete's right now.
Yeah.
But don't forget that every Wednesday night we are at a rotating list of Chickies and Pete's in the Philly area, in Delco, up to Montco, out to New Jersey. But each and every week, Snow the Goalie is live from Chickies and Pete's. No matter the sports season, Chickies and Pete's has you covered. Start the meal off right with some of their delicious red, garlic, or spicy white wine menu mussels before you indulge in one of their mouth-watering burgers, like the Ultimate Tailgate or the barbecue burger. I'm taking the Fightin's burger off. I'm so bitter right now that our baseball team isn't in the postseason, isn't taking on a very good Toronto Blue Jays team, Bundy. I'm so upset about it. I shan't. Listen, if you can get the Fightin's burger, I'm sure it's lovely. But the barbecue burger is what makes Anthony SanFilippo feel warm and fuzzy in his tum-tum. Come on out to one of their more than 17 locations and be sure to check them out at the next Flyers game in either the East Food Hall or Southeast entrance in front of Section 103.
See, you read the script.
I did, yeah.
Like the actual script. So
I did.
everybody can see we have an actual script, right? Russ reads the script. I was actually going to do, if I was doing the read, I was going to give recommendations, and I was going to call them the Bundy, the Ant, and the Russ.
Go ahead.
No, I'll wait for the next time because we have to do the read again later on. So
Do we?
I will do. Yeah, we do it 3 times a show.
We do.
Yes, we have 3 a show. So
You know what we don't have 3 of every show?
What's that?
We don't have a player of the week 3 times a show.
We're doing that already. Okay.
Well, we typically do it in the
right.
earlier part of the show, unless you guys want to build the suspense.
No, that's fine.
Have some people. I mean,
That's
listen,
fine.
we
It's
can
time
also
now.
we can remind people that they can call into the show if you're
That's what you
if
should
you
be doing,
feel so
yes.
moved by the hockey spirits out there. You can give us a call and let us know what you think about the Fly Guys coming off of back-to-back shootout win. Sam Errson in net. I have a feeling we're going to have a chat about Sam, but you can give us a call 215-949-3232. Again, that's 215-949-3232.
All right, it's time now for the Payroll Service Solutions Player of the Week. Brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's 1-866-PAY-EASY. Bundy, let's start with you. Who is your nominee for this week's Payroll Services Player of the Week?
I'm going to have to go with Trevor Zegras. He had a really good week. 2 goals on Saturday. He's really making plays, scored 2 goals. Shootout, he was unbelievable Saturday. Played a good game last night until he got kicked out. We didn't see him in the shootout, but he's played a good game. Trevor Zegras is my player of the week.
Anthony?
I'm going to go with Bobby Brink.
Yeah, he's a good one too.
I think Bobby Brink has had a really good week this week. I thought he was – that line, we've talked about it on the Press Row Show last night. That line has been sensational, and you can't say enough good things about Noah Cates and Tyson Forster as well, the way that they've played. But Bobby Brink has stuck out for me just a little bit more than both of those 2 guys. Last night he has a goal, he has an assist, and then he makes an absolutely unbelievable move in the shootout, like 3 dekes to score the ultimate shootout game winner. So for me, The player of the week is Bobby Brink.
Okay.
Russ, what's your vote?
I'm going to go off script.
Oh, here we go.
I'm going to give a little bit of love to a guy who has been much maligned. I'm going to give the player of the week to Jamie Drysdale.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
We have not had a lot of conversations about Jamie Drysdale this year.
No.
And I think that's for the best. Because typically, when we talk about Jamie Drysdale in the course of a season, it's because we're not seeing enough, whether it's we're not seeing enough of him being able to drive play as a defenseman, where we have the conversations about, at the beginning of the year, we had the Cutter Gauthier versus Jamie Drysdale discourse. It'll pop up 50,000 more times before these guys are done in the league. I think the fact that he's been as steady as he's been, I'm actually going to give him a little bit of love here for the player of the week.
He's been good. He's been steady. He hasn't made that crazy mistake. And
Right.
Somebody told me last year they were always trying to envision his best season being at a -15. And I heard that from somebody with the Flyers. That's what they're saying. Like, that's what we're going to have to deal with every year. And he's really moved the puck well. He's defended well. He's closed the gap well. He's done a lot of really good things. And his game's probably the most improved of anybody from last year going to this year.
Something interesting on Drysdale, Flyers actually have a plus advantage on shots when Jamie's on the ice.
Yeah.
Which in the past was never the case.
Correct.
Like, they were always at a negative advantage. So analytically, he's looked really good.
Oh, listen, there's stuff going around Twitter, like, I don't understand it. I'm not going to tell you that I'm smart. Like, there's stuff with, like, Qs and all kinds of stuff. Like, expected goals, I can't stand expected goals. But there's stuff that, like, I think only ever exists within spreadsheets. But, like, I've been seeing the stuff going around. I'm like, all right, the eye test says he's been steady.
Yeah.
Then when all the hockey nerds, who we love and respect anyway, they start to then kind of pound the drum. I think if we get to a point where Drysdale starts affecting play in terms of point production, really does run that top power play unit, runs a power play unit, starts putting the biscuit in the basket or making the right pass that leads to the goal, that's when I think you're going to start to see more love. Sometimes people are just waiting for that breakthrough.
You know what they want?
What's that?
They want him to shoot the puck. He's not shooting it enough.
They meaning the Flyers coaching
Flyers.
staff.
And they were actually working with him on that after practice today.
Okay.
So he kind of stuck around after practice and was working on taking shots from the point and where to take them from up there as he's moving along the blue line. So now we have a tough call here, guys.
It's the first time it's ever happened.
First time we've had a split.
A three-way split.
Three-way split for the Payroll Service Solutions Player of the Week. We got to come.
Week one was Couturier.
Week one was
Week
Couturier.
2 was Vladar.
Week 2 was Vladar.
Week 3.
Now we're in week 3. We got to come up with a consensus.
I have an idea.
What's that?
We don't go with any of the 3 guys we picked.
How about if we let the people comment? What's your
we
idea
can let the
then?
commenters know. I've been told that we have a caller on the line who maybe wants to weigh in as well.
All right. Well, let's get to the caller, and then we'll wrap up.
We'll wrap up the. Let's see if we can get anybody to hit us up with a good idea here. I've been told Tony is on the phone. Tony, you're on Snow The Goalie Radio.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey,
long
Tony.
time, or first time, long time.
There we go.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, big fan of all 3 of you guys. Been watching since you guys started almost. I think it's the best show around.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
It's only the best. It's only the best because of Bundy now being here.
That's
Before that, it was just me babysitting Russ.
That's
now,
right.
Now we're a real grown-up show.
And what a bad babysitter Ant was, in fairness. He's not a great. And this man has children. Oh.
That's right.
Huh. Anyway, Tony, what's on your mind?
I also enjoy the Russ Joy show by Russ Joy.
Look at that.
As well.
What a guy.
Give him a shout out. So, 2 things I wanted to call in about. A, I think you guys are really just too hard on Sam Errson. This is only his 3rd year in the league, and it seems like every time they lose, or anytime anything bad happens, it's always Ersson's fault. And I think for a 3rd-year player, I think we should have learned our lesson about trashing 3rd-year players after the whole Bobrovsky fiasco, especially after Ersson has made Team Sweden twice and looked very good when he actually had good players in front of him.
All right, well, let's address that. We'll leave you on because I know you had a second point you wanted to make. I'll go first on this one. My problem with Sam Errson is not that he's a bad goalie. I think he's a fine backup. The problem is when you rely on him too frequently, you get goals like you got last night. which are goals that he absolutely has to stop. It's okay to have a bad goal every once in a while. Bad goals happen, right, Tone? Like every once in a blue moon, yeah, you let one in. That sucks, but you know, all right, you get back up on the horse and you do it. But Sam Errson seems to have a situation where every start seems to have one of those goals. And look, after that goal last night, I thought he was really good. You can't blame him on the second one. That was a total fluke, bouncing up off of Sealer's shoulder and then hit the post and back off of him, whatever. Like that's unfortunate. So he had a really good game after that. But it's that one goal, and you know, the Flyers have been fortunate that in his last two starts, that one goal has not come back to hurt them. But it could have. Bundy, are you kind of with me on that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's what we say during the show. I mean, that goal, the first goal, it can't go in the net. It just can't go in. It was just those are the ones that are backbreakers usually. Flyers got away with it last night, but when you let one like that in, it usually comes back to haunt you.
Yeah.
All right, Tony, what was your second point?
Okay, so this is Brière's been here basically 3 years, and I don't understand why every single draft pick he makes gets defended, no matter how bad the draft pick was. Like his first draft year, we knew right away that he hit a home run during the draft with Mishkov, Bonk, Bjarnason, Savergen, Barkey, Cole Knuble. We knew that was a home run draft. Last year with the Luchanko draft, we knew that draft stunk right away. We knew we left the best player on the board. And then this past year, I like Martone and everything. I guess they passed on Higgins because of his agent or whatever. I'm not sure. But the Nesbitt pick was terrible, and especially the way Jackson Smith is looking at Penn State. To me, that was the obvious pick. To everybody else, that was the obvious pick. And Nesbitt looked like he was going to be a borderline late first, early second round pick, and we took him at 12. So I don't understand why we have to wait 5 years until we can judge a draft when we knew in this first draft he was hitting the home run after home run. Well, I love you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, Tony. I'm glad that you could put that out there that way, because the answer to that is that you don't know that the draft, that Mishkov draft, was a home run. You don't know. Still, today you don't know. Just like you don't know that the two drafts since then were not good. It's crazy to sit there and say that a draft was good or bad when these players aren't even 21 years old yet. I mean, in the NHL, it takes time. Like, these guys you have to give them time. And, you know, ultimately, you may be right, and ultimately, you may be wrong. That's why it's the NHL is not the NBA and the NFL, where guys come in right away and you say, oh yeah, that guy can play in this league or that guy can't play in this league. It takes some time. I got a guy sitting next to me who will tell you that you need to play at least 150 games as a defenseman.
Yeah.
Right? Before you even have an idea.
Sometimes it takes defensemen 4 or 5 years.
Right.
We look at Sanheim.
Yeah. Right. There's a great example.
Took him forever.
There's a great example.
Yeah.
Right? So like, I mean, you just don't know. And so it's fine that you have that opinion, and you're welcome to have that opinion, and you can sit there and die on that hill all you want. But I'll bet you right now that a few years ago when the Flyers drafted Noah Cates, nobody was like, who the heck's Noah Cates? He's never going to play in the league, you know? Right. You watched him his first 2 years, and it's like, all right, he's just another fourth-line guy. Noah Cates, just another guy. Now, all of a sudden, he's playing the center on your top line. He's playing against the other team's best players. And he's starting to get people to think about, can he develop into a Selke Trophy kind of candidate?
Yeah.
Not to say he's going to win one, but can he develop into that kind of player? You weren't talking about him the day they drafted him, were you? It's the same thing. You have to give players time to develop.
Yeah. I think the Martone pick was a good one.
Yeah, that's going to be a good pick. I've heard nothing but good things about him.
He's got a good head on his shoulders.
Yeah.
He's going to fit a need here.
He's got a real knack for the game, too.
I totally get the idea that, like, hey, he doesn't play the position of – so, like, if you zoom out, like, if you want to play the pessimist, which a lot of people still are choosing to do, you say, all right, like, right now, do they have a 1C in the pipeline? Maybe not. Do they have a number one defenseman in the pipeline? Maybe not. Like, I don't know. We'll find out. Martone is going to be really good. There's no guarantee that James Higgins develops into being a legitimate 1C. He might be. He could be. But Martone, to me, fits a need. And it's not even, like, listen, I think there have been times where, whether it's Brière's regime, Fletcher before him, Hextall before, sometimes GMs will draft for position of need instead of best player available. which drives me nuts because if you're in a rebuild, it should be take the best player available. It's just that's where I always.
And I'm with you on that.
And so Martone, to me, wasn't really a position of need necessarily because you, in theory, really need a center. They might not think so. They might think Luchanko can be a 1C, which is insane, but they might. Nesbitt, to me, is like a perfectly fine player. You had an opportunity to move up to get a massive human being who you project could end up being one of your top 2 centers potentially down the line. I have no problem with that. None whatsoever. Them trading up gave them a better chance, for my money, of Nesbitt being a player who can hit instead of being later in the draft, right? Later in the first round, and it's a little bit more of a crapshoot.
All right, since I'm the only one who remembered that we have to close out the player of the week, just for the ad read purposes, I'm going to pick Bobby Brink as our player of the week since I remembered and you didn't.
Okay.
Is that okay?
We saw intern Andrew walking around here before.
Intern Andrew can vote.
Intern Andrew will always vote for Bobby Brink.
By the way, intern Andrew's aunt is saying she was going to come to see the show, but Andrew's not here. But then Andrew is here.
Andrew is here.
So Andrew's
his aunt needs to do the Find My thing on like the iPhone.
Yeah,
he needs to like share his location. Find my nephew.
Find my nephew on the iPhone, and you would know that he was here. So no, we'll go with Bobby Brink. So Bobby Brink is your Flyers Payroll Service Solutions Player of the Week. Once again, brought to you by Payroll Services Solutions. Call them today, 1-866-PAY-EASY for the smart choice in payroll services. Payroll Service Solutions catering to the small and medium-sized business to handle all of your payroll needs. Call them once again, 1-866-PAY-EASY. I want to talk about what happened at the end of the game last night.
Please
Russ,
do.
you didn't get to see it. Bundy and I got to see it in person. And I got to talk to some guys about it today over in Voorhees. And they were just as confused as everyone else. Travis Sanheim and I had a conversation about it, and JJ was in on this conversation, and Morgani. So it was the 4 of us just kind of standing there talking. And Sanheim said, first of all, they didn't know what the penalties were at the end of the game.
Right.
The referees never announced them. So they didn't, all he said was the referees, all they did was came over to each bench and said that Zegras and Crosby had to leave the bench. Right?
Yeah.
So there's this scrum after the whistle happened, after the horn goes off at the end of overtime, before the shootout. A lot of guys just grabbing each other, not really fighting. It's just a lot of pushing and shoving, whatever. And they gave out 8 misconducts. So now none of these players technically are allowed to take part in the shootout, but they only kicked 2 guys off the ice.
Right.
So Sanheim's sitting there saying, we have guys on the bench who were thrown out of the game who would have been in line, Owen Tippett and Tyson Forster, to take shootout shots if it got past the 3rd guy. And the referees had no kind of control over it, right? Like, that's got to be something that the league's got to look at, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it was weird. They never even read the penalties off.
No, we had no idea.
Yeah.
Just total chaos.
Yeah.
The other thing was, and this was a discussion today, and I want to get your take on this, Bundy, especially. And Russ, of course, you can weigh in too.
Thank you.
So, Crosby gets tossed in this whole thing. And there was a discussion that Crosby should have been suspended because he technically left the bench. So what ends up happening is the period ends, there's a small skirmish, the linesmen break it up, Crosby comes off the bench, goes to center ice to talk to the referee. Mm-hmm. And he's talking to the referee during this whole thing. The doors open for the Zamboni tunnel because they're going to come out and cut the ice and get it ready for the shootout when the skirmish keeps going, okay? When the skirmish keeps going, it's like at one point there's like a 4-on-1 with the Flyers. Crosby sees it, and he comes in from center ice where he'd been for about 20 seconds already talking to the referee, and he just grabs Tyson Forster and pulls him aside. There's no pushing and shoving. It's just, the bear hug that guys do, right? He gets a misconduct because he's involved in it, but then everybody was like saying, well, he needs to get suspended because he came off the bench. I guess technically by the rule,
he did come off the bench.
He did, but it was because of the uniqueness of the situation. The league said they did not suspend him further.
Okay.
Are you cool with that?
I am.
So am I. Russ?
Yeah.
I don't care.
It wasn't like he came in as the 3rd man, jumped the bench, and suckered somebody that was already in a fight.
Correct.
Right. He just held on to somebody. He really didn't have a whole lot to do with it.
Right.
Yeah,
I think you should be able
I don't
to do.
think she's been suspended for that. No.
I think you should be able to do whatever the heck you want at the end of overtime. I don't care. You want to have a little dust up. You want to throw some punches. You want to throw some haymakers. I don't care. Go out and participate in the shootout.
The refs were spectacularly bad last night.
It was a clown show.
Yeah, it was a joke.
It was a total clown show last night. I mean, then you had the whole situation, and Russ, you would have loved this one. So there's a penalty called. First of all, they miss a call on Noah Cates. Noah Cates gets tripped, and they completely miss the call. The play goes down the other end of the ice. Trevor Zegras ticky-tack hooking penalty. They call it all the time, so I'm okay with them calling it, even though I don't think it's a hook. But they call it all the time. While there's a delayed penalty, Malkin comes off the bench. The goalie has not made it to the Pittsburgh bench yet. Malkin gets the puck and scores the goal. Pittsburgh thinks they win the game. Well, they blow it off. Now, you would think this is a too many men on the ice penalty, right?
One would assume, yeah.
But it's not. Bundy, what is it?
It's a premature substitution.
Premature substitution.
You got to hate the premature substitutions.
What the hell is a premature substitution? So it turns out that when a goalie is leaving the ice, and only when a goalie is leaving the ice, I thought it was because of the delayed penalty. I was wrong. When the goalie leaves the ice, okay, you do not get penalized for too many men if your guy comes on the ice too soon. It's just considered a premature substitution. If a goal is scored, it does not count. But what I want to say is, what if you just run out the period? That you just let play go on with an extra guy on the ice? I don't understand it. To me, it's the dumbest rule, and the NHL needs to fix that going forward. Because last night was an example of just it was a mockery of what was going on the sport.
Premature substitutions affect tens of hockey players across the country every year. If a premature substitution lasts for longer than 10 minutes, be sure to reach out to your medical trainer or coaching staff.
Oh, man.
That was one of those nights. And the game, like I said earlier, the game just took forever. They had an offside review that must have been 10 minutes long.
How about, at the end, too, Bundy, with the penalties? That was the longest.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
So I figured it out on a timeline. Crosby scored with 8 minutes to go in the third period.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have 8 minutes of hockey time in the third period, 5 minutes in overtime, and 3 shootout shooters. How long do you think that took?
I don't know.
41 minutes.
Love that.
For 13 minutes of hockey time and 3 shootouts. Took 41 minutes.
It goes back to Bundy's point. These games are, the Flyers just play abnormally long games.
All of them. They all end at 9:30 except the Flyers. Look at the game last night. I'm thinking, it's a fast-moving game. It was 9:30 and there was like 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
Of real time. I'm like, how does this happen every night?
Yeah, we thought we were going to get home to watch the World Series last night. For the Dodgers fans in attendance, we apologize.
Are there Dodgers fans here?
There are Dodgers fans in attendance.
Who cheers for the Dodgers?
I know, it's a shame. It's a shame. There's Dodgers fans in attendance.
That's just so unfortunate.
But yeah, we didn't get home for that. Like we got at the very end. I walked in. It was I think 6-1 at that point.
Well, it's
right?
wild because somebody on this panel said that some people on this panel said, well, not some people. One person on this panel said,
yeah,
probably going to be the Dodgers in 5. That's
Dodgers in 6. Just a little note for you guys today, and this is kind of an interesting thing. Sam Errson left the ice today. Tocchet said it was a little tweak, but it's day to day.
What did he tweak, Ant?
I've been told it's his groin.
No.
Which has been the problem that he's had.
Well, he ended up three absences last year.
Yeah, like
3 stints.
multiple times that he missed time. Does that concern you, Bundy, or do you look at it and say the kid Kolosov's played really well for the Phantoms? Maybe he's kind of turned a corner.
Oh, in terms of having another goalie come up, I'm not worried about that. Whether it's Kolosov or Ersson, that's fine. I mean, but I don't like the fact that he gets repeatedly injured with that groin.
Yeah, so, because you've seen goalies have that problem, and it's derailed their careers,
problem.
right?
Yeah.
So I mean, they say it's nothing. They say it's a tweak. Should be okay. All the things that you're supposed to say.
Yeah. Well, people had a lot of thoughts and opinions, though, because Ersson, I mean, listen, Vladar very clearly had established himself as, like, the number one to go to. Ersson gets in net against the Islanders, wins in a shootout. Hooray, hooray. He's back in net last night against the Pens. And you go, all right, well, that's fine in theory. Like, don't mind him playing back-to-back games. The downside, however, is that means Dan Vladar will have gone about a week without a start, which to me is also kind of crazy. Now, I get that they have a bunch of games coming up. They've got the Predators on Thursday night.
Vladar will play 2 of the next 3.
They've got the Maple Leafs at home on Saturday. They've got the Flames at home on Sunday. Of course, Vladar came here from Calgary. One would assume Sunday is the game that Tocchet probably has circled for a Vladar start. So you're probably not going to go back-to-back days, which means Ersson, in theory, will be back in net on Saturday if this tweak is just a tweak. Vladar back in net on Thursday. Bundy, were you surprised at all that Tocchet decided to go to Ersson in back-to-back games and put essentially Vladar on ice for a week?
Well, they got 4 and 6, so I mean, I guess it didn't matter. They're both probably going to get 2 games each in those 4 and 6. So I mean, and I think Sam coming off the good game against the Islanders, where he ended up making some pretty big saves late down the stretch, probably earned him another start with the win, and he got another win last night. So, job done by Sam Errson in terms of the actual numbers of getting 2 points for your hockey team.
Yeah, no, he's right. He's right. Hey, by the way,
What's that?
You need the perfect place to watch your next Flyers game. Try Chickie's and Pete's right here where we're at, here in Drexel Hill. There are 17 locations in the Philadelphia area. You grab a basket of crab fries on the go or one of their specialty pizzas. But the ones that I want to talk about today are, and I mentioned this earlier, that I want to talk about our personal orders that we've had here the last few weeks. Bundy, what I call the Bundy, and it's a great one. He gets a nice bowl of clam chowder.
Love that.
Right?
Yep.
Gets an order of peel and eat shrimp.
Yep.
Right? And they put the crabs, the Old Bay on there, right?
Yep.
So you get a little bit of that. And then you get the traditional pizza.
Yeah, which I can split with you guys. So
He's not eating the entire pizza
thing.
himself.
No,
Let's be fair to Bundy.
I'll be honest with you. I've taken the pizza home the last couple of weeks, and it's been my lunch the next day.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? Yeah, so it's worked out. It's worked out for me. Russ, you and I have each done a little bit different.
I did a curveball tonight for the first time.
You did. You went with the chicken sandwich, right?
I did, yeah.
The grilled chicken.
But previously,
you went with the crab cake sandwich.
crab cake sandwich.
Which based on your recommendation, I went with tonight.
And how did you feel about the crab cake sandwich?
Love the crab cake sandwich.
Okay.
I usually do the barbecue burger.
Yes, you do.
Which is an awesome burger. If you haven't ordered yet, and you want a burger, get the barbecue burger. But the crab cake sandwich may be the new go-to.
The grilled chicken sandwich was lovely. It was double stacked.
Yeah.
It was two pieces of chicken, not just one. You want to get your protein in. You want to hit your goals, right?
That's
you want
right.
to hit your macros, as it were.
Good
That's
stuff.
the place to go.
Good stuff. So make sure
Great
you
food here.
stop by their flagship location in South Philly. If you're going down to the game, it's right across the street. And go get your stuff pregame. And then while you're in the arena at the Flyers game or any other event down at the Xfinity Mobile Arena, the X as we'll call it, not the Exmo. Don't want to get anybody in trouble. Go. You can check them out at the East Food Hall, the southeast entrance in front of Section 103, and go to chickiesandpete's.com to check out for upcoming events and more.
I somehow always get blamed for the things that upset people, and you're the one who stirs the pot.
Isn't that my job?
I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know.
Bundy, before we get back to the hockey, there is a question for you.
From David Castleman over on YouTube.
They want to know if you're back rooting for the Birds.
I am. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't that Minnesota game. My son-in-law plays for that team, so there was no way I was going to root for the Eagles against my son-in-law. But yes, I'm back rooting for the Birds. I was proud fan at the game against the Giants on Sunday where they took them apart. So I was back. Yeah.
Attaboy. Yeah. Now the only time you have to worry about it is if the Eagles and Vikings play each other in the playoffs.
Right.
Otherwise,
which I don't think that's going to happen. Minnesota's had a little bit of a rough patch lately.
Yeah, and their quarterback situation is not the greatest right now.
Good.
So, good for you.
I'm actually double checking to see if I was told that there was a caller on the line, and then I totally forgot and we lost. But I think he's there. Roy, I believe Roy is patiently waiting on the phone line. And by the way, that's irresponsible on my part. I've had Roy hanging out there for a long time. But Roy, I appreciate that you called into Snow the Goalie Radio. How are you? What is up?
You there, Roy?
He may have hung up, boys.
Russ.
Roy was here. I even issued an apology ahead of time.
So if it's the Roy that is in our chat, Roy, call back. We'll get you up before the end of the
he said
show.
he got disconnected. All right.
Yeah.
We might get back.
Yeah, call back. We'll get you back up there. One other thing I want to talk about is kind of interesting. You know, they scored a power play goal last night. Bobby Brink's goal was on the power play. And it was interesting, Bundy, that they went with that unit to start that power play, which was Cates, Forster, Brink, Cam York at the point, and I forget who Zegras was the other guy on the ice. Instead of the other unit, which Jamie Drysdale's at the point, and it's got Mishkov, and it's got Couturier, Owen Tippett, and Talk was asked about it, and he said, we have 2 first units, basically. There's something I think that he likes about the way that second unit plays systematically that's different from that first unit, whereas that's a little bit more loosey-goosey.
They buzz a little bit more.
Right?
They dart in and out of a lot of open seams and stuff, and they really work hard for one another. I kind of agree with that. Like, I don't think there's one power play that's that much better than the other, or vice versa.
Right.
So I think they're both pretty even. And I mean, last night was a great case where you had on that goal where Noah Cates tried to pull it to the net. It kind of came off his stick, but it went right in that area where the dirty goals are scored. And Bobby Brink came in and got the loose change.
Yeah, and
it's a really nice goal.
Yeah, it's interesting because normally in that setup, Cates is the one that's in the spot there where Bobby Brink was. And it said, Bobby Brink said today, he was like, it just kind of flowed, like the way that the play was flowing, that Cates ended up on the side of the net. So Brink kind of filled in his spot in that middle they call the bumper spot. That he ended up there, and it just happens to get, there's a rebound, and he goes and gets it and puts it into the back of the net. Yeah. Interesting, though, I think that they look at it and say, we think that this power play can be better when you have 2 units that are equal, as opposed to overloading one unit with your best guys, and then having the secondary unit not be guys that go out there for 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, I mean, and again, it all comes down to chemistry, how your team's playing. But I don't think it makes a difference right now what unit goes out first. I mean, that unit last night plays it simple. They're like a little bit of a buzzing power play. And the other power play's got more structure to it, where they're looking for the open seams, a little bit more patient. But last night they moved that puck quick and very, very efficiently.
Yeah.
I'll tell you somebody who's really efficient, Andrew, who's now on the line.
Okay.
Andrew is calling into Snow The Goalie Radio, and I would love to know, Andrew, what is it you want to talk about? I'm making sure it's not intern Andrew over at the bar. I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
I think
He's
it's
over
a
there.
different Andrew. Andrew.
Yeah, talking to some other fans.
What's going on?
Gentlemen, how are you? Greetings from the great state of Texas.
All right.
Fawcett. How are you, Andrew?
Yeah. I'm good. One, I just want to say it feels pretty good to see the Flyers actually have a power play that is close to being one that we can be proud of. But my main point is I think Michkov's played much better the last couple of games, but is it something that you've noticed, or is it concerning to you that he continually makes these blind passes or tries to make home run passes that keep getting picked off?
Yeah, you know what? He has made some blind passes this year, especially into the middle of the ice, and even on a play like where he's coming into the zone. And those are plays like guys are gonna be given a little bit of room to try to make a play, to use their talent. But there comes a point too where you've got to stop turning the puck over into the middle of the ice, especially on the offensive zone entries. And I think that's where he needs to really improve on that. I mean, Rick Tocchet will talk to him about that. The coaching staff will have discussions with him about that, because it's not like you're just not making a play with it. You're also turning the puck over, and it's coming back the other way. So those are things that they have to work at, and definitely he can be better at that. I do think his passing the last couple of games, though, finding open men, has been a lot better than it was early in the season.
Yeah, I agree with Bundy, Andrew. And one of the things that I saw in the first period yesterday, and I brought it up on Press Row Show, was there was a play where Mishkov had the puck on the wall in his own end, and Zegras is breaking out of the zone. And Zegras, you could hear him calling for the puck. And so Mishkov knows where he's at, but doesn't look, and he goes to make a blind pass there. And so part of it is also, being is like spatial awareness, right? Knowing where your teammate is, and then he tries to make a play, and the pass gets, knocked down, and real quick, Pittsburgh comes right back into the zone. Now, doesn't lead to a goal or anything, bad for the Flyers, but it's those kinds of plays that you want to avoid, because that's what does eventually lead to golden opportunities for your opposition.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's the spatial awareness is the perfect way to put it. He knows where he wants to put the puck, but he doesn't always look before he makes the pass. So yeah, he's always putting it in high danger. He's been putting it in high danger spots quite a bit. So
I think that will pass with time, right? When you're 20 years old, you're still thinking that you can do things that you used to get away with at lower levels of hockey that you can't get away with in the NHL, and I think that will just pass in time.
All right, Andrew, thanks for calling in.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, guys.
thanks, gentlemen.
Stay out of trouble down there in Texas. What do people do down in Texas?
Well, stay a lot warmer than they are here.
Here's another one I wanted to ask you guys, get your take on. So Flyers played 9 games so far, right? Mm-hmm. With the exception of the Winnipeg game, the other 8 have all been nip and tuck. Pretty close games.
Yeah.
We've had 4 that have gone to overtime, 1 shootout. Just really tight, high-pressure hockey. Is that a good thing for them?
It's taxing. It's a lot. It takes a lot of energy and there's a lot that goes into playing like that because your games they're tight games every night. They're going to overtime 2 nights in a row now. They do tax themselves the way they play. It's a very, very aggressive defensive style that they're playing with that box and one. But yeah, when you only have one game that was kind of a runaway one way or another, it means you're in every single game and you're right up on the ball of what's supposed to be going on. But at the same time, that is fatiguing.
Right.
It might be taxing, but I do think it's good for the team as a whole to galvanize early in the season, and it's a positive galvanization of the team.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like I think it's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Right. It's definitely something that they can lean on and say, hey, look, we know how to play in these tight games. We know how to get out of tight situations. We know that if you're down a goal or even down 2, that the game's not over. You don't have to panic. You could play at the same pace and be even keel and still be in the game.
Yep.
So there's, I think, a lot of good and a lot of benefit from that. But I also worry, like you said, are they putting themselves to a spot where once you get to January, you're getting, you're killing your body on that?
Yeah, and they've also had the luxury of playing a lot of home games as well. So I think 9 out of 10 games at home is a nice way to start the season off. And as we said last night, you have to make some hay with these home games, and they've had a great start at home.
Yeah.
Playing some of these games. So and that's the kind of start you need to have with that many home games at home. You don't want to just be 500 because then once you start going back out on the road, you're just a 500 team.
I don't know. It's so tricky because I don't know, and I don't want like the bias here to come out, right? I've been saying I feel like when you have a new coach, you essentially like extend a bit of a grace period as that coach tries to figure out his lineup, figure out his roster. I don't get the feeling right now that Tocchet is riding too many guys into the ground. I think he's kept it pretty balanced. Early in the season, obviously, he admitted that he was shortening the bench late in games. That was part of Mishkov getting, essentially benched late in games where he was rolling 9 instead of 12 or whatever. I think it might be the benefit of this being such a young team, right? Like, this isn't a totally grizzled, hardened roster full of guys who don't have a lot of tread left on the tires. Like, if there's a group that should be able to kind of handle and be able to bounce back, it should be a younger roster. Should it not?
Yeah, and Bundy and I talked about this a little bit last night, Russ, while you were up in New York. They rolled 4 lines last night. Like, that 4th line played a lot, and deservedly so, because they played really, really well in the game. And I think that, they did, the Talk was doing this knowing that they have to play 4 times in 6 nights.
Yep.
And you don't want to overtax your better players and have them have nothing left by the time you're playing Calgary on Sunday, right? So getting that 4th line, the ice time that they got last night was important. And so I think that they are really looking at it, right, Bundy, they're really taking into account not burning out guys.
Yeah, the 4th line took a regular role last night. Like, they were, especially in the first period. I mean, a little bit less as the game went on, but they still played a pretty decent amount of minutes, all things considered. And that'll help you with a 4 and 6 because you can't just roll 3 lines and play the 4th line 1 shift every period. That's not going to help you in the long term, especially in the short term long term where you have 4 games in 6 nights.
Right. And not only that, everybody was complaining about Nick Delorier being in the lineup last night, Russ.
Yeah.
Played a heck of a game.
He played well last night. Yeah, he did.
Really had impact in the game. Like, he was physical. You know, he had good shifts. He was hunting pucks in corners, winning 50-50s. Like, I think they only, if I remember correctly, Bundy, I think there was one shift where they got hemmed in.
Yeah.
Just one in the entire game.
They were very solid. Yeah.
They were really solid. You know, it was Delorier, Abels, and Garnett Hathaway. So I think Grebenkin will be getting back in. I have a feeling that you'll see him back in the lineup against Nashville. Okay. But I would not be surprised if Delorier played one of the 2 over the weekend as well.
I think he's going to play 2 out of the 4 out of the 6. Yeah.
I think so. I think that will be the case.
Okay.
And Pittsburgh didn't really have anybody last night either that could have countered him in a fight.
Yeah.
So they brought him out there for energy. Makes guys comfortable having someone like that in the lineup.
I don't have a problem with Delorier getting into the lineup occasionally. It doesn't I know that in the past there have been these arguments again about the supposed or the idea of the skilled 4th line. I just look at it to me, Grebenkin should be playing almost every night. I just think that he brings certain elements to the game that a coach should want, that this coach has kind of raved about. I don't know if it's just part of that feeling out process. I don't know if it's that Tocchet doesn't want to. I think there's part of Tocchet that wants to in a way show respect for a guy like Delorier by including him in the lineup and not having him sit 5, 6, 7 straight games, right? But there is part of me that just goes look, Grebenkin kind of fits the mold of somebody who could theoretically be here playing in that bottom 6 role for the next 4 or 5 years at least. Age-wise, he lines up to me, that should be a guy who's a fixture in this lineup.
Yes, you're not wrong. But there does need to be a progression for the player, right, as a young player. And there is value. We've talked about this in the past, although with the previous coach, it was punitive, whereas I think in this case it's not. I think in this case it's really kind of teaching a player how to do certain things and how to play at this level, right? You get that sense, Bundy, that they're not really punishing Grebenkin by not having him in the lineup. It's getting him to learn how to play over here, play the style, play with the way that the team wants him to play, and every once in a while you sit out a game and just kind of observe it and get right back in there.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't think there's anything wrong the way they're treating Grebenkin. I mean, I know what you're saying, Russ, and I think there's a pathway for him to being an everyday player. But I think that the way that the season started and Tocchet, his coaching staff figuring stuff out, I think that this allows for them to do a little bit more work with him in the games he's not playing, and for him to try to figure things out sometimes just by watching a game.
Just the idea of being able to watch it from up
over top.
And, I guess that's one of the things that we're not maybe as used to seeing. It always did kind of feel like with Torts, when a guy would just find himself out of the lineup and the idea was, watch it from up top. It almost felt like a guy made one mistake and then Ant was saying it was punitive, and it was.
But again, Bobby Brink was the biggest victim of that.
Yeah.
When you think about it under Torts, how many times did that guy come out of the lineup because Torts didn't like something that he did in the game?
Yeah, it happened a lot.
Right? And I think that Tocchet is more willing to let guys play through mistakes, and that when they're scratching you, it's just, hey, this is a numbers game, but you also have to learn a little bit as well. And, the veteran guys, I think Delorier knows his role, Abels knows his role, they know where they fit. But when you look at a guy like Grebenkin and then Luchanko before they send him out, those guys, they were not in the lineup, not because they're not worthy of playing, but because they want them to. They believe that they can be more than just a 6 to 8 minute a night guy, and they want to see that. They want them to see the game a little bit differently. So I look at it. I think that that's how they're handling it. And I think that they're handling it a lot different.
So tomorrow, Darth Vladar is back in the net.
He is.
Darth Vladar. You can find your shirts over at shop.snowthegoalie.com.
Shop.snowthegoalie.com for
Darth
the
Vladar.
new
The
Darth Vladar
They're
t-shirt.
great shirts. They continue to sell like hotcakes. Question: when's the last time you had a hot cake?
My wife made hotcakes. When was that she made the hotcakes?
She's sitting over there.
Saturday.
So selling like hotcakes. I don't know.
Is a hot cake like a pancake?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so.
That's what they are.
You know what my wife made tonight?
What did your wife make?
Chicken cutlets.
Oh, very nice.
But I haven't gotten to eat a chicken cutlet
So
yet.
you know what? I should make this announcement. So we had last Sunday, the Vikings game.
Yep.
So there's not this one that just passed, the Sunday before. We had an event that my high school kind of throws together, a group of guys I graduated with. And it's an annual event called Sunday Gravy.
Okay.
And this year we decided to have a competition.
Uh-huh.
So all the either one of the guys or their wives made a gravy, and we did this blind taste test.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody knew which one was which. All right, and everybody who was there got to vote their first choice and their second choice. And then there were these two older Italian grandmothers who awarded their own special award. So there was a golden wooden spoon, which was Nana's choice, and then there was the vote that they did the tabulating, right? So my wife made her gravy, made her sauce, and she won both the golden spoon and the first place vote for best sauce. Right?
Wow,
Done,
look at
Maria.
that. Applause out here for
Yes.
Maria's sauce. I will say, I've said this before.
Yes,
Maria makes a great cutlet.
absolutely does.
Top-notch cutlet.
Yeah, she makes a great cutlet. So now we
Good
get
stuff.
to choose. We get to choose next year what the special twist on the sauce is. So
Okay.
do we do like a vodka sauce?
Uh-huh.
Do we do like a bolognese?
Okay.
Like whatever it is, we get to decide. So I got time.
So you gotta think this one through a little bit.
I got to think it through. Got to think it through, right?
All right, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so tomorrow we are back down at the Xfinity Mobile Arena for the Press Row Show
Yeah.
as the Philadelphia Flyers take on the Nashville Predators. And then, as if that weren't enough, we will return on Saturday as the Flyers welcome the Toronto Maple Leafs to town. And the next night, Sunday, the Flyers are also at home hosting the Calgary Flames. And then, boys, then we stay away from the arena for about a week.
Yeah.
We finally get a break after that.
But we will be here next Wednesday.
Not
We'll be,
here.
Well, not here. We'll be here at Chickie's and Pete's, not in Drexel Hill.
Glassboro, New Jersey. We're finally going across the bridge, so we'll be a little bit closer to Bundy.
Crossing the border into the Garden State.
That's still a little bit of a ride for you,
It's a
right?
bit of a ride still, yeah.
Still a little bit of a ride.
I'm going to fly.
It's never close for you.
Do you ever see the videos of the guy? He has like the big fan behind like the little lawnmower cart thing. Have you
Yeah.
seen this? Or no?
No.
You have no idea.
I'm saying
it's,
yeah, as you
it's
go
like,
ahead,
it's like the
continue.
crop. It's like the crop dusting thing. Like I'll send it to you. But this guy modified what looks like a riding mower that has the giant fan on the back, and you can actually fly it into the air. That's what I'm going to fly.
There you go.
I'm going to bring that to Glassboro, New Jersey
Yes.
next week.
So yes, back to the Press Row Show tomorrow. Back to Chickies and Pete's next Wednesday in Glassboro, New Jersey. Thanks to the fine folks of Chickies and Pete's here in Drexel Hill, Delco, my neck of the woods. Right. So thanks to everyone who came out for this. We got a good crowd out here tonight.
Everybody's welcome at Anthony's house after this.
Yeah,
for,
I'll go back to my house afterwards. Maria's making gravy, right? So we'll all go back. She'll make the gravy. There was one other thing. Oh, this weekend.
What's that?
So Saturday, the Leafs are in, but no Scott Lawton. He's hurt.
Is he?
Yeah. So I don't know if he's coming. I don't know if he's going to show up, and then they'll do the tribute video, and he'll be up in his suit in the press box waving. I
We
don't know
should
if
get
they'll
him
do
on.
that.
If he's hurt, let's bring him on the press.
Yeah,
row
I'm
show.
sure the Leafs will let that happen.
Why not?
And then second.
What kind of trouble could we get Scott Lawton
And
into
then
on the press row show?
secondly, on Sunday, it's like old home week. You got both.
Oh, that's
Joel
right.
Farabee
Farabee and
Morgan
Frost.
Frost coming
It's
back
Bill
in.
Meltzer's. He's had that date circled on his calendar for a while. Morgan Frost comes home to Philadelphia.
It was so funny. We were sitting in the press room today, and Kevin Kurz was needling Bill Meltzer, and he goes, it's really funny to think that the best player in that trade was Kuzmenko. And Meltzer lost it. It's like, he's not the best player. He was not the best player.
Dude, Kurtz better watch it though, because you're one more Ersson groin tweak away from Kolosov being up here.
I know.
And if this is what I want. I don't know if you've ever seen the viral videos of somebody walking around with like the mini basketball hoop, and they put it behind, and somebody comes and they take the little ball and they dunk.
Yeah.
I would like to see Kolosov do that to Kevin Kurtz. Now, in fairness, Kurtz is really, really tall. The hair's always kind of coifted. That adds a couple of extra inches. But if Kolosov ends up back up here, we got to
you
get
go.
the dunk. Anyway. I think that's it, guys.
That's it. So
Great show, guys.
Great show. Thanks again, Chickies and Pete's. Don't forget you're listening to Snow the Goalie from Chickies and Pete's right here on 1490 WBCB 107.3 FM, seen live on YouTube, both at Snow the Goalie and at WBCB